Man, what's going on with this thing? Hey Ryan, there's something wrong with this gun, dude.
Yeah, there's no magazine in it.
I'm talking about the trigger, dude.
Yeah, it actually won't fire without a magazine in it.
What? I've never heard such a thing. Why would anybody do that?
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's interesting. Let's find out if that's a good feature to have on a gun. Welcome back to another beautiful day here at Classic Firearms. I'm Kaya, and today we're going to talk about why don't some handguns fire without a magazine, and why a lot of them actually do, and which one should you own. So it's a safety feature overall, and there's really valid arguments to both sides. Some people prefer handguns that fire without a magazine. Some people, no way, they want a handgun that will not fire without a magazine. So in this case, I've got about 3 guns here in front of me. The Glock 45 with the Holosun 509T close emitter red dot, got the FN57, and I've got the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0. Now, M&P 9 2.0 will fire without a magazine. So, as you can see. However, FN57 will actually only fire with a magazine. As you see, it will not fire, and as soon as the magazine is inserted, and folks, the reason I'm doing this off camera is because of YouTube guidelines. So, and now it will. And obviously, all Glocks will fire with or without a magazine. Good to go. So, anyways, so now that we show that we've got these different guns in front of us, FN actually will not fire without a magazine, like all these other guns do. So let's explore these arguments. I'm gonna basically tell you the pros and cons for both of them, and then I'm gonna give you my opinion, and I'm really curious about your opinion on the comment section. So let's start with the, why is it beneficial to have a gun, a handgun, that will not fire unless there's a magazine in it? Right off the bat, what I can think of is law enforcement, security, that field, in cases military as well. So think about a scenario where you're a police officer, you're a security guard at a bank or at a mall, and you're armed, right? And you come across a bad guy, and you guys get in a scuffle, and the bad guy tries to take your gun from you. Now, unarmed bad guy, right? That's a completely different topic, but I don't consider anybody unarmed. If I'm armed and the person sees that I'm armed and we get into this scuffle, there's a gun in that fight. So that person is no longer unarmed. There is a gun in that fight. So the person goes for your gun, and you're a police officer, or you could be a civilian as well, right? Or a security guard. And you know the person is bigger than you, or better than you, faster than you, stronger than you, and they're about to overpower you and take your gun from you and use it against you. And folks, I know this is a different topic, but anybody goes to your gun, you always take the bad intention of the person, never good ones. All right? Actually, Supreme Court ruled on this too. If somebody's going to your gun, you can go ahead and assume that they are actually trying to use it against you, take your life or those around you, their life. So you should protect yourself. So what you can do, or what a police officer can do in that situation, is to basically press the magazine catch or magazine release button. Once you do that, I'm not going to show because of YouTube again, the magazine is going to pop out, or at the very least, if you're scuffling, right, it'll basically dislodge itself. And the bad guy takes the gun from you, and now there's no magazine in it, or magazine is dislodged from it, right? They point the gun at you, the gun doesn't go bang. So that's a very good day for you, right? The bad guy doesn't know that gun doesn't fire without a magazine. It's a safety feature, and points at you, pulls the trigger or press the trigger, nothing happens. And hopefully in that case, you're able to gain control of your gun back. The bad guy thinks that it's a brick now, drops it, attacks you. Hopefully you're able to grab your gun, and you have extra mags on you. If you're a police officer, security, you do. Once you put the magazine in, you can go ahead and engage and do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. So there's the upside of that. So you can actually use that to your advantage. Now, another one, in my opinion, this is really, really big on the civilian end of things. Again, some folks that are watching this video are way more experienced than I am when it comes to firearms. Some folks, they're not. And a lot of times we find this issue, we come across this issue on the novice end of people, or people who have been exposed to firearms for many, many years, but they're not really trained all that well, or they don't train regularly to reinforce that muscle memory. For some reason, people think, I'm gonna use a different gun over here, the M&P. For some reason, people psychologically think that once a magazine is out of a gun, handgun, that gun is safe. So, magazine in it, people are scared to press the trigger, right? Because you're trained. We got the cardinal safety rules. Treat all firearms as if they're loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger unless you intend to press it. And never point a firearm at anybody unless you're justified. And we all know about the fourth one, know your backstop, right? And there's multiple different things when it comes to firearm safety, but these are the cardinal safety rules, that fundamentals that you really need to instill into your brain and always follow to the T. But some people, even knowing that, remove the magazine, they just think, oh, this gun is now safe. They press trigger. So this gun fires without a magazine. There's a warning on here, right? Caution, capable of firing with magazine removed over here. There's a reason for that. So a lot of people, how many videos have you watched? How many videos have you watched people just grabbing their gun, removing the magazine, and on pop, they shoot the guy next to them at gun stores. We've seen some CCTV footage. Some police officers do this. People at home, they remove the magazine and pop, a round goes off. Now, again, as I talked about, right, to make a firearm safe, you got to go through those safety rules. Obviously, keep your finger off trigger unless you intend to press it, right? If you simply violate everything else and keep your finger off the trigger, you should be good to go and safe. So I believe that is a huge benefit to those kind of folks for having a gun that will not fire without a magazine inserted. If there's a round in here and I remove the magazine, so I mean, obviously I just racked it, so if there's a round in here, trigger is just gonna do this. Specifically for the M&Ps. And how I know that is, back when I was a police officer, about 11 years ago, I was issued a Smith & Wesson M&P 40, and it did not fire without a magazine. So if you remove the magazine, your trigger, even if there's a round in here, your trigger just did this, nothing more. And as soon as you put the mag in, bang, it goes. And then about 3 years or so that I worked there, my department gave us the newer generation of M&P 40s, and that would fire with the magazine removed. So those are the two things, the main two things, let's just say, that I can think of that is having no magazine in a handgun very, very beneficial. Now, let's move on to why it is not beneficial. So again, I'm thinking about this whole police officer thing, right? As a former law enforcer, my mind always goes to this tactical end of things, right? We've all seen a police officer, something bad happens, draws his weapon, and because of his bad grip, it happens, guys. Even if you're trained, it does happen that you just establish that bad grip from the holster, because the proper grip is always established in the holster. You establish that bad one, or you're tense, something's going on, you're moving, and your finger goes to that, your thumb, let's just say, or your grip, your pressure goes to that magazine catch, magazine release button, and next thing you know, your magazine is out of the pistol, or just at worst, it is just dislodged. So even if it's slightly dislodged, so this is not going to happen. It's like this gun is not going to go off. Actually, you know what? Better gun is over here, the FN. So FN all day long, right? You draw it, the gun goes bang, the magazine is inserted. But if you have that moment where you draw the weapon and you have that bad grip, you mistakenly, inadvertently press that magazine catch button, and you're, hold on, there you go, and your magazine is slightly dislodged. Look what happens. This gun will not go off. So bad guy's right there, you grab that gun and it's got that poor grip, the magazine is dislodged, or in certain cases, if it's loaded, it's got some weight to it, it just completely fell. We call that a dead man's gun. All right, you're not gonna be able to send some rounds downrange, and you're gonna put yourself in a really bad situation. So, in fact, when I was going through the State Police Academy a while back, I was subjected to a abandoned vehicle scenario, and we were given those, blue Glock sim guns. And me and my partner approached this car, and the dude that was on the passenger side of the van, he gets out of the car and clearly trying to draw his pistol against us. And I drew my sim gun, Glock 22 in that case. And the first thing that happened to me was, like, I pointed my gun at the person. We were like within 3 yards, right? I did this. It happened to me. I mean, it hasn't happened since, but in that specific scenario, it happened. It was a very tense situation. I had a bad grip. It happened, and I just, in this case, when it happened, I remember, like, it fell. I saw it, like it was like a slow motion, but I was like, bang. It was within 3 yards. I had a perfect center mass hit on that guy. And of course, then we moved, it's a dynamic fight, right? I just took a step back, tried to take cover as I just used my additional magazines to reload and continue engaging the bad guy in that scenario. If that gun was equipped with a magazine safety, I was dead, right? In that scenario, again, it's a scenario, but I was a dead man. But I was able to send my first, before he was able to draw his weapon, I was able to hit him with that. So there's the importance of that. I understand somebody's coming at you, somebody's fighting you, trying to take your gun from you, and you press that button to put them in a bad disadvantage so they can't use your gun against you. I understand that's the benefit of that, but the risk, I just explained that. We've all seen it, guys. I can show you some videos on YouTube, police officers getting a gunfight due to bad grip, whatever, magazine falls, right? We don't want that, and you want to have a gun that'll go bang every time you press the trigger. That's what trigger is for. You press this thing, it should go off. A reliable gun, it should go off. Now, another thing that I don't personally like, that I'm just trying to say why you shouldn't have a gun that has that magazine safety is, that's another point of failure. So there's a mechanism in there that prevents the gun to go off when the magazine is removed, right? So the way my mind works is like, okay, there's another mechanism in there. There's another point of failure. Something could happen, that part fails on me. Next thing you know, my gun is not going bang, even with the magazine on, right? It depends on the situation. Maybe I dropped the gun, or maybe went into some muddy area, whatever. The simpler the better. That's why these Glocks are just known to be handguns that work no matter what, right? Because they are very, very simple. Simple handguns. You don't have to complicate it. There's less moving parts. Good to go. It works. Those are my thoughts. Now, again, it's not really the biggest, most controversial topic, but some people love that. Some people don't want that. My thoughts, now that we explored the pros and cons, I personally want a gun that's gonna go bang every single time, whether there's a magazine in it or not. To me, I've personally found myself again, it was a scenario, but in a situation where it helped me win in that scenario. And I've seen videos on YouTube or wherever, right? Police officers are getting a gunfight, magazine falling from the gun, and police is at least able to send one round downrange as opposed to just be completely exposed. Unfortunately, we've seen this happening to bad guys as well. But that's about it. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that those people who take the mag out and they're thinking, oh, this gun is now safe. The magazine is gone, so therefore it's safe. I mean, pointing at people, whatever, right? So it's good in that case. If you follow the cardinal safety rules, guys, you're not gonna have any problems. So you're not gonna have to worry about shooting yourself or somebody else. Just follow those rules. And in my opinion, having a handgun that will fire no matter what is the way to go. But I'm curious about what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Do you have any experiences on this? Please fill that comment section. I'm curious to see what you guys think.